Hey there, I'm Lord Farquaad, and this is Dev Talk number 5. And on this episode of Dev Talk, it's a little bit longer than usual, and it's a little bit of a special episode because today I'll be talking about the development process for Deathmatch, the game mode that I created for Just Cause 3 multiplayer. Now, development started early February 2017, and most features were finished by late March 2017. I started development before the announcement of the Nano's Just Cause 3 multiplayer game mode contest, but I figured that I would submit it anyway because it was done a couple weeks before the deadline. First, an overview of the deathmatch features. Like what do you even do in deathmatch? Players are randomly spawned in an arena and must find weapons to kill others and become the last one standing. Weapon spawn types are always the same, such as rocket launchers, but the actual weapon that you get from the spawn is always different. Each type of weapon has a different respawn time, which is set in the configuration in each specific arena file, because there's different files for each arena configuration and stuff. There are boundaries that restrict the game area, and people are killed if they stay out for too long. The boundaries close in once the timer hits 0, and then the timer resets back to 2 minutes for the showdown, where the arena size is really small. If there's still more than one player once the timer hits 0 in that showdown mode, then it ends in a tie. The arena is randomly selected after each round ends. Now, this was basically a huge learning experience for Node.js, HTML, JS, and CSS, because I had zero experience in each of these languages before starting this project, but now I feel pretty good about each of them. I still don't really know that much, but I can get around and create some stuff. In the early stages, I was just learning HTML and CSS, so a lot of my time was spent designing the ugly main menu for Deathmatch, which you can see. I also experimented with audio and had some Star Wars music playing on loop for a week or two before I got sick of it. The great thing about developing UI for Just Cause 3 multiplayer is that you can develop most of it, well, at least, how it looks and stuff, right in your browser. So this makes it that you don't have to waste time reloading the server and reconnecting on the client. Now, I learned a ton about data interaction between the three mediums of Just Cause 3 multiplayer: the server, the client, and CEF, which is the UI place where you do all that stuff. The server would send data to the client about the arena, such as where the weapons spawned, what time of day the arena would take place, whether or not the grapple hook was enabled, etc. Then the client would take that data and give it to the CEF so that it could be displayed in the UI for the player to see. An example of this is how the game actually starts. The server first tells all the players to fade the black. The client passes this information onto the CEF so that a UI can be created to cover the screen and make it actually black. Then, a few seconds later on the server, after everyone has the black screen, it sends another message to the players telling them all to load the arena settings. At this point, while the players still only see black, they're teleported to random spawn points around the arena. The client tells the CEF to display a loading arena message while the server waits for everyone to load the terrain and arena settings. Once a client is fully loaded and ready to begin, it sends a message to the server saying that it is ready. Once all clients in the game are ready, then the server tells all of the clients to display a countdown. And once the countdown ends, the game begins at the same time for everyone. So there's a little bit of network delay on that countdown, so someone's might end a second or two before someone else's, but it's not very much. Some of the issues throughout this was that sometimes the player would load slowly, and the built-in event, PlayerReady, would fire too early, and thus the player would not receive the data they needed in order to run the game up properly. So this prompted me to make a custom event that fires once the player had loaded all the necessary client-side files, such as chat and deathmatch. And this worked pretty well. Even with the fix of PlayerReady coming in 0.9.9, I wouldn't recommend that you use it for everything. PlayerReady is fired when the client has finished loading all of their main.js files, but not when the UIs are loaded. If you want to display data on a UI that the server needs to send, you should make the client tell the server to send it with custom events after the UI is loaded instead of on PlayerReady. The only thing that PlayerReady guarantees is that the main.js has been loaded completely. Development was sometimes difficult on Deathmatch due to Just Cause 3 multiplayer updates breaking Quick Local Connect, which is a button that you can press to quickly connect to your local server. So that made me have to restart both the client and server every single time I wanted to test just a small change. But luckily by this point, a lot of the game mode was done, so it was just a few small tweaks, but it still did provide a little bit of a challenge. It was also pretty interesting to translate two-dimensional UIs into 3D things in the game world, such as the border rings around the arena and the weapon spawns. Both of these took a while to get all the settings right, but once the settings were good, they added a lot more to the game mode as a whole. Without these things, the game mode would have been very incomplete. Now you can actually download the Deathmatch package from either the Just Cause website packages page or my GitHub page. Both links will be in the description in case you want to check out this game mode or put it on your own server.